Okay, because I want to be one of those guys who actually goes at the time he's supposed to. We are getting started now. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you have questions, I got this from a friend of mine. The best way for you to ask questions in the comments is Q colon and then your question. It helps keep things organized. And I got that from my buddy Lion Flood. But what we're going to do today is we're going to go through something that I watched a friend of mine, Ryan, do. And Ryan actually just went through and answered questions in a larger forum and just provided those answers to people. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that is what we are going to do today. And that means we're going to go to what's called the Schoolers community. And the reason we're doing this in school is because this is the platform that we use to create monthly income. And the way that it works, in case you're unaware of how this works, is this community is only for community owners. And so you can see there's 182,500 community owners here on this platform that we refer to as school. Now, why I've chosen school is because school is the best one of these platforms. Hands down, it is the best because what it allows you to do is have community, classroom, calendar, and cash collection all in the same place. So let's take a look at some of the questions. All right, let's take a look at this one. So what Jen is talking about here is that her rank dropped considerably in a very popular category. And if you don't understand what categories are, let's go here and I will show you what a category is. So a category is either trending, hobbies, music, money, spirituality, tech, health, self-improvement, or relationships. So these are different categories for communities, which means that anybody can have a community in basically anything that you want, and you have the opportunity to monetize it, which is really cool. So trending is kind of interesting because you get to find out exactly what is, what's trending. You get to find out the communities that are being visited the most frequently. Like, for example, this is an event that's coming up with Tony Robbins. Yes, Tony Robbins is a member of school, and he has a community with Dean Graziosi. And so on June 18th, they're having this Meant for More live, which is going to be 10 a.m. PST. And it's brought to you by this thing called mastermind.com. But what it's doing is it's showing you that these are the communities that are being visited most. Now, generally what that means is those communities are probably advertising the most, and so they're getting the recognition, and they're what we call trending. That's what the fire is for. But let's go back to what Jen's question was here in Discovery. And so what that means is that you have a rank within something called discovery. Let me show you my community and I'll show you what I mean. So in the community ranks, right, and mine dropped massively. Yesterday, I was, I think, 1,700, and now I'm 20,000 in the community. And I am in one of the categories here. So I don't know what happened, but here's what I would say. Here's what I would say to Jen and anybody else. Let me go back to schoolers here. Whoops. Let me go back to schoolers. And that is simply, looks like they're just working on it right now. So that's not the greatest question in the world. Celebrate small wins. Now, this is pretty cool. So this is a Breathe Better community. You would not think that something like that would be something that would be like, what? So this guy's got 54 members. So that's pretty darn cool that he's got a breathing community with 54 members. How do you handle heavy topics or members coming in hot with questions that may be alarming? Anything from self-harm, harming others, or just full of hostility. I've considered putting it in a disclaimer, but I wonder how other schoolers, in particular those not trained in mental health. Now, look, I am not a mental health guy, but here's what I will say, Debbie, about heavy topics. Or, more importantly, I'll say this about posts that you don't find to be appropriate for your group or disturbing to your group. You are the moderator, depending on how many people you have in your group, and let's just take a look. So Debbie's got 6 members in her group. So what I would say, Debbie, is I would say to you that you are the moderator. It's your group. You get to choose who you want in there, what you want them to be able to post. So from that standpoint, emoji reactions. So that is a suggestion. Sometimes it takes a village or a school. One of my OG besties from school has a group where she puts out a weekly bulletin. And I was having a particular awful day. Okay, so that's not really a question. This is interesting. Oh my God, is school giving us customers? Now, what I find interesting about that is, let me go ahead and open and I will show you. I found this to be the case myself, and I just posted about it in my group. And that was, have you heard the gossip? So there has been this thing going on. And by the way, none of these other platforms that you could choose, not a single one of these other platforms has this option or provides this benefit to people. You can't get this on WAP. You can't get this on Kajabi. You don't get this on Circle. You don't get this on Coursera. You don't get this on Mighty Networks, not Go High Level. None of those platforms give you this option. But this one does, and that's why I think this is so cool. And that is simply, this is a school ad that was run, and look at that. I am not personally advertising on school, but school is advertising my group on their ads. Talk about a benefit. Again, a benefit that no other platform will give you, just this one. So if you look at it, and we can try to go into, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. Let's see if I find it on Facebook. Let's see if I can find it. Whoops. All right, let's go over here. I'm just going to, yeah, let's bring this up on its own here. Let's see. Oh, it's me. There we go. Oh, well, it did it anyway, didn't it? I should not have done that. How about that? There we go. So while we're doing this, and if you have any questions at all about school or about how you use school to create monthly recurring revenue, you can certainly put that in there. I will be happy to share that with you. Let's see. Can you? Let's see if I can find. I don't think you can. Oh, okay. Here's what I mean. So let's go back, right? Let's go back into here. Now, this is an ad on school right here. And if you will look inside of this ad on school, what you're going to find is that these are all school communities. This one happens to be in Spanish, but you can see 26 members, $159 a month, and this is Diego, and Diego has got one that has to do with, I don't even know because I don't speak Spanish, so I can't help there. But here is different communities. The Tribone Academy, I have no idea what that is. Community business, I have no idea what most of these are. Expansive Man, a holistic and trauma-informed brotherhood. Look at that. 43 members, $50 a month. Guys, that's $2,000 a month to just have a community for men. So that's why I'm saying this is such an incredible platform to be able to make money from. It's just such a cool place. And it doesn't look, let's go into my community and let's see in my community what kind of questions we can come up with. Because I'm not seeing a lot in the schoolers community today. So let's go with general discussion. Let's go with newest. Let's see if we can find some questions here. Now, I've already answered this in here, but how much does presentation matter? So he was curious to hear from educators and creators, and that's really what my community is for. It's for 40 plus educational creators. And when I say educational creators, you can be doing videos on crafting, you could be doing videos on raised garden beds, landscaping, Excel, different softwares, YouTube itself, anything that is educating people. All right, so it's primarily not about entertainment, blogging, current events, those type of things. This is strictly educational, but it can be about anything you want. As you saw earlier, we just go through all of those different categories where you can have a group. And so what this guy is saying is that do people learn better from information itself or the way it's presented? And here is what I said, and I truly believe this, is that in my experience, level of production isn't nearly as important as quality of content. However, how you present yourself reflects on your knowledge, skill, and your perceived level of competency. For example, when this stuff is going more smoothly, guess what? When I can go like this, and I can speak, or I can go like this, and I can show you my screen, or I can show you my full screen, when I can shift like that, or I can go in here and I can look and I can see if we've had any comments. And if there are comments, I can pull them up on screen. When I can do those types of things, guess what? You are showing a level of professionalism that will make people want to pay attention to you. So from that standpoint, that's why I believe that it's really important for you to get out there and prove what you know, right? Prove what you know. And the best way to prove what you know is to go live, so you have to speak extemporaneously or ad lib, right? Because if you don't have a script, then the best way for you to do, the best way to prove that what you know is to take questions or to talk about a specific subject. And so what I like to tell people and what I like to let them know is the fact that if you have studied a subject for 50, or if you've done something for 50 to 100 hours, you've read 5 books on it, or maybe you've taken a couple of courses on it. I'm not saying that you are necessarily an expert on that subject, and nor do you need to be. But I am saying that you absolutely 100% are qualified to teach that subject to other people. For example, here is the here's what I go with. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate that. So here's how I believe that this best works. And before you get concerned about, I don't know what I'm talking about or whatever, I want you to remember this. I want you to look at this. They don't build statues to critics. So anybody who is criticizing you for going live and talking about something you're passionate about, they don't matter. And they're only going to reward you after you've been through all the headache and the heartache and, the bad comments, and you've actually succeeded. Nobody's going to be necessarily cheering for you in the beginning. It's just, unfortunately, it's not the way humans are built. But here's another thing I want you to remember, and that is, this is all it takes, is because there's a shift now. And the shift is, and I'm going to wrap things up here shortly because I don't see any questions. But here's the shift. Instead of gurus who acting like they've already made it, a longer-term success model is what's called the role model. And the role model is simply somebody who can honestly guide people through the next step. And because you're constantly going to be progressing yourself, learning more, you will constantly have more value to offer to people who are 1 step behind you, or 2, or 5, or 10. You will always be improving yourself. The role model is not somebody who is at the top of the mountain, looking down, telling you how to do something. The role model is, hey, I did this worked, or I did this didn't work. Try it. Right? And then you can also bring other people into it, because it's real, not perfect. I'm not perfect. You look at my lives and sometimes they're an absolute disaster just because I'm hitting the wrong buttons and I'm going in the wrong places. But it's real. And that's what people want. People don't want the guru who's perfect. They've tired of that. And so they want real, not perfect. They also want somebody whose own mistakes and own path actually empowers others. That's what they want to see. And then that allows you to focus on the next step, because that way you don't have it all figured out. You're not always winning, because nobody wants to see somebody who always wins. And then your followers are not real people. They're just fans. And you don't want that. You want people that you help. And then once you help them, guess what happens? They can recommend you to other people. So that is why this is such a much improved business model, if you will, is that. because you have the ability to help someone. You have the ability to show them that you are the guy that can get them where they want to go. So I'm going to wrap things up for now, but I hope that you have enjoyed this. And here's what I also hope. I hope that you will subscribe to the channel, right? I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. And then I hope that you will you'll join us next time. So I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your comments and everything. And now let me just let me say bye for now.